In this topic 5, we are going to talk about create and manipulate database. Assuming now you have started designing your database using any database system. Now we shall look at structured query language, which is the language used to retrieve, manipulate, delete, update any data and record which is in your database. This is the language which is mostly used in MySQL, SQL Server, MS Access, and I told you MS Access, you are not going to use it at your level. That one is for the level 4. Level 6, you are not supposed to use MS Access. It has advantages of using this structured query language. It allows users to describe the data. After retrieving your data, you can describe it. You can define your data. You can manipulate your data. You can create and drop databases and tables using the SQL. You can use to create, view, stored procedures, functions and database. And also, the structured query language can help you set permissions on tables, procedures, and views. Let's check on tables, whereby data inside the relational database management system is stored in database objects called tables. Inside your database, you will be required to create a table inside the database. Database is a collection of related data. It can be a collection of data about the institution, whereby inside this database you have details about students, details about trainers, details about the other employees, whereby they are stored in different tables, because these people, employee and student, they are not sharing. So data is stored in database table objects called tables. Field. Every table is broken up into smaller entities called fields. This is a column in a table which is designed to maintain specific information about every record which is put inside the table. The field is like the column. Example, the field is like the first name, surname, middle name, admission number, enrollment year, course, department. All those, they appear in the column. Whenever you are going to populate different records. Now record, it is the individual entry now that exists in a table. Under the first name, you have several names of your students. Surname, you have those names, address, phone number, what you put inside. Now, those are the record now. Null value. In a table, is this a value which appears to be blank? And you find that in SQL command there should be no null value. Null value is blank and not the same as 0. 0 is a value, but null value is blank. And this one can bring about problems when you are retrieving data. SQL constraints. These are rules enforced on data columns on a table, and they limit the type of data that can go into the table. And hence, this one ensures there is accuracy and reliability of the data inside the database. They can be in column level or table, where you apply these constraints to limit the type of data. We shall look at those constraints afterwards. The structured query language, it also has syntax, which is a set of rules and guidelines to be followed while writing the statements. All the SQL statements start with any of the keywords. It has keywords like select, insert, update, delete, drop, create. You can create table, you can create database, select from which table or which database, what are you selecting? Insert, you want to put another record. Update, you want to update something, maybe the teacher transferred or you have got new students, you have to update. You want to delete someone who existed in the school. Alter, you want to change details, maybe someone changed the phone number or address. Drop is just doing away completely with the table. This is just an example. And remember, every statement in SQL command, it should end with a semicolon. Failure to put a semicolon, it will not run, it will have an error. That's an example of a table in my database with the ID, name, age, address. Select those are fields. And then these others inside, those are the records. And you can see under the name, you have the names. You can't have mixture of names inside the age. And that one will be restricted by the something called data types, which we shall see next. Data types. These are type of data which can be stored in a column of a database. They are supposed to be declared in the column part of it. If it is the first name, you declare it there so that the records which you are going to put, they will be in line with the data types. In a column, the user can store numeric, string, binary, integer, character, monetary, date and time, binary, and so on. Those are the data types, and you have to declare them. Name of the column, then the data type of that column. If it is first name, into brackets, you want your names to be character. Strings of characters, how many? 25. Meaning your name should not exceed 25 characters. If it exceeds, it will have an error. If your column is supposed to pick age of students, write the name of the column, which is the age, into brackets, integer, meaning int 2, meaning the age should not exceed 99. If you get 100, that one will be an invalid because you have already declared it in the column attribute. It provides the guideline for structured query language to understand what type of data is expected. In this, under the age, if you declare the age to allow only integer 2, the moment you put in words, it will not accept. SQL will not understand it. So it will prevent the user from entering any unexpected or invalid data in a column. We have the operators. These are reserved words or characters. And you have to use where clause to perform the operations, such as comparisons and arithmetic operations. These ones you'll see it clearly when you start querying your data, querying your database, which you have created in topic 4. Topic 4, you have created your database, you have populated it with records. Now you want to query your database so that it can give you a specific information you want to retrieve. We have arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, we have addition, the subtraction, we have the multiplication, division. Then division is for the whole part, and the modulus takes the fraction part. Maybe you want to do division, maybe there is calculation inside your database, or multiplication, or addition. There is comparison. Comparison, it will return a Boolean value, which is true or false. The comparison operation can be unknown when one of another operand is null. We are saying no value should be null. If it is null, it will be unknown, it will be invalid. We have the equal sign, not equal, greater than, less than. All those are the operators, comparison operators. We are comparing. Maybe you want your SQL command to retrieve information about students in computer science department who got computer programming less than 70%. You have to use less than 70%. And the return is a boolean, true or false. The logical operations also returns a boolean value, which is either true or false. And also it will be known if one of the operands is null. Those are the logical. And these ones, you have learned them in truth table. And, or, and, not. Expressions. This is a combination of one or more values. Operators and SQL functions that are all evaluated to a value. The expressions are like formula and they are written in query language. And you have to use where clause of SQL query. Where do you want to do that expression? We have the commands, which are the building blocks for communicating. These commands help in communicating with the database management systems. They are used to perform various operations on a database. They can help you create table, insert data, query information, control access, revoke access, put security. All those commands are used in database management system. And they are categorized in 5 primary types, and each type serves a distinct purpose in the database management systems. Let's start with number 1, which is data definition language commands. DDL. These are used to define and modify the database structure. These are mostly used, and you have to start with this one because you have to create your database, create table. You want to alter your table, delete database object like tables, indexes, and schemas. These indexes, tables, and schemas are inside your database. If you want to create, you can create new object, new table, a view, and database. And that is the syntax of creating your table. Alter, you want to modify existing database. You want to add, delete, or modify columns. Maybe you had created 4 columns, you want to add another column. You use alter command and say you want to add another column, then put the name of that column and also the data type, the way you had put the other columns in, and declare the data type which is supposed to be allowed inside that column. If you want to alter the table, modify column, maybe you want to change the name of that column, you can use alter table. Drop. This one is used to delete an existing database object like table. These are objects inside the database, table, view, schemas, all those. You just drop table, then the name of that table. Truncate. It's used to delete all data from a table. For the drop is deleting table and everything inside the table. Truncate, it is deleting only data inside the table, but the table will remain. Comment, you want to add a comment to the data dictionary, and you specify which table you want to add a comment. You want to rename the existing database object. You start with the rename table, the name of the audit table which is existing. Then 2, put the name you want to name your table. Number 2, second type of SQL command is DML, which is data manipulation. This is for adding or inserting, deleting, modifying data. And this is used for to manage the data within databases, within the tables of a database. Like insert, you want to put another record, another student who joined the school, another teacher, another employee. You want to insert him in which table, and all the details. Column 1, inside your table you have 4 columns, for example, put those columns. Then values. Value is what you want to add there. The first name of that person, middle name, surname, phone number, age, all those things, salary. Those are the values you want to insert into the table. Update, this is command used to modify the existing records. You want to modify the existing one. Maybe in column 1, you want to change you want to set the column 1 which value. Column 2, put the condition where name is null, or where name is John, name is Peter, things like that. Then the where clause specifies which record should be updated. You are not updating the whole column. It is specific. By putting the where clause, you be specific. It specifies exactly what you want to update. Delete, this to remove or one or more rows from a table. When you want to remove, put where clause to specify which row you need to be deleted. Maybe you don't want to delete the whole table, like in data definition. You want to just to delete a specific information. Just put where clause. Select. Also, you want to select a specific data. Where, which column, from which table, where. Put a clause, a condition, where exactly you want to select. Where you want to query or extract data from the table. Number 3 is data control language. Even from the word control, you are controlling the access to data in the database for the security purposes and the integrity of the database. There is grant. You are giving users access privileges to the database, and these users, you can allow them to use credentials so that they can access the data inside the database. Also, you authorize them. Not every data your users are allowed to access, because you have several users in the database and some information is very sensitive for every user, so they are given privileges, what they can do to the database. You revoke, that is, you deny access. You deny some privileges. You can revoke so that this user once clicks that one, the database just says you are not allowed to access this kind of data. You are revoked. And now this revoking, this one is done by database and administrator, who grants and revokes the rights to use the database. And these commands, I've told you, they are for the database administrators, who gives authorization, who gives you the credentials which you are supposed to use to access a certain data, who revokes what you are supposed to access and what you are not supposed to access. And for you to access, you have to put in credentials. That is authorization and authentication, which is done by the database administrators. We have the transaction control language. This is used to manage transactions in a database. And the transactions are very important to maintain integrity and consistency of data. And the transaction allows multiple database operations to be executed as a single work. The users can execute the same data at the same time without collision, because database allows that one. One of the characteristics of the database management system is multiple access. And there's also consistency of data. The data you are going to retrieve and the data I will retrieve, it should be the same, having the same information. Consistent. It should not lack anything or add anything. They should be the same. We have begin transaction. This is for the start. We want to start a new transaction. We have commit. Commit is permanently to save all the changes made in the current transaction. The current transaction you have been doing, the moment you click commit, it will save it permanently. And the database system will ensure all changes made during the current transaction has been properly saved inside the database. There is rollback. Rollback is just undo what you have been doing in the current transaction. There is save point. They create points within a transaction to which you can later roll back. It allows for partial rollbacks and more complex transactions. If you are dealing more complex transactions, you use save points so that it can allow you to roll back later to undo the changes. Set transaction. These specify characteristics for the transaction, like isolation level. Number 5 is data query language, DQL. This is to query and retrieve data from existing database tables. And mostly we use select statement, which is used to fetch data according to specified criteria. Specified criteria. What we have told you, like select all from. Big companies are using big data. So once you use select as the main command, so it will retrieve data from one or more tables. So you have to specify which table exactly you want to retrieve your data. Like to select all columns from a table, you use select. That asterisk is all. You don't put all, you just put asterisk from. You put the name of the table. Remember to use the where clause to specify exactly where in this table, where exactly you want to retrieve this information. You can say where students are in computer department, or you want to retrieve all students from that table in ascending order. You use select, then from, then where clause follows. Make sure you use the quotations properly, the semicolon, they should follow properly. We have the join clause. They combine rows from 2 or more tables based on a latent column between them. We have inner join, left, right, full. These ones I want you to use them in your database management system. You start querying your database you have created in topic 4. Make sure you query. Ask it to see whether it is functioning. Query it, your database, so that you can get the information and be able to know more about these ones practically. Then from there, we shall move to topic 5.